In today's education news, are we going to see a change to teachers' maternity pay in a bid to improve retention? Well, no, because it's only happening in a few trusts, but this could be a sign of things to come. I've previously made a couple of videos talking about this issue of the motherhood penalty, where the biggest group of teachers leaving state education are overworked mothers in their 30s. Now, in the previous videos, I talked about how in previous generations, teaching was such an appealing job for mums, as teaching sort of worked alongside being a mum. However, now in the system we work in, with that obsession with the accountability, the pressure, the stress, the constant scrutiny, and just the number of hours expected of teachers working, it seems untenable for so many mums. And I get messages all the time saying they just don't feel they can be an effective teacher and a good mum. I just never realised how bad teacher maternity pay is compared to other professions. So teachers get 4 weeks maternity leave at full pay, 2 weeks at 90%, then 12 weeks on half pay. Whereas the civil service, which is another government department, and supermarkets offer 6 months paid leave. This article then goes on to say how some trusts are changing that. One is from day one going to 18 weeks on full pay and then 8 on half pay for teachers and support staff. The schools will also be offered uncapped paid leave for women who sadly suffer a miscarriage. This trust, the Utley's Trust, is now approving 98% of all requests for flexible working as a policy that everyone must be able to attend their own children's sports days and school plays, two childhood milestones teachers often missed while looking after other people's children. Now, some other academy trusts have also changed their maternity packages, but I think this is something the government have to put in place for every school, because we know how much it varies school to school when it comes to issues like this. Some of you lucky devils probably read this and went, what, some people aren't allowed to go to their own children's sports days and school plays? Yeah, that happens. Like, I was in this school the other week, brilliant school, and they were telling me that they've created a system now where every teacher works a 4-day week. So they take their PPA and another half day of leadership management time, and they can do that away from school, which I think is brilliant. And again, a model that I think most schools should move to. And the staff were talking about how well that's working. And you just get a feeling for a school, don't you? When you just know they get it. They're obviously doing everything in their power to support and make that staff feel trusted and valued. In contrast, I got a DM from a teacher recently who was asking me if it's normal practice for SLT to sit in on your PPA time. Yeah, basically some SLTs think it's a good idea to monitor and observe teachers' PPA time, whereas other schools allow teachers to take their PPA time at home. Make it make sense. We need that consistency across the board. We all know in the run-up to the recent election, Labour promised that they were going to recruit 6,500 new teachers, which is great. However, I think a bigger focus should be more about keeping teachers in the profession. No point recruiting 6,500 new teachers if most of them are going to leave after the first few years. And low maternity pay and lack of flexibility within teaching is what's leading to this retention crisis. And so it would be short-sighted of the government to focus on recruiting rather than retaining. Going back to the Academy Trust that is changing the maternity pay for some teachers. This is a really good point from the chief executive of that trust, saying that we need more experienced teachers, recommending it as a career to others to solve that recruitment crisis, which I agree with. But I've run polls in the past and I've asked you, would you recommend teaching at the minute? And the vast majority say no. That ultimately is what needs to change, because a stable base of experienced teachers means a stable school. The government is focusing on bringing in new teachers, but that base is crumbling. As always, I welcome your thoughts. I think it would be a step in the right direction to improve that maternity offer and also give more flexibility options for teachers. But if you are in that bracket of 30, 39-year-old women suffering with that motherhood penalty, that mother's load on top of the pressure and scrutiny and working in a toxic system as a teacher, I want to let you know that you are not the only one. This is something that so many people and women are struggling with in particular. But what would you like to see change? What could change to make you want to stay in the profession?